Just kind of lead in. No worries.
We just banter pretty much.
Like now, because we're recording. So
We're recording right now. Awesome.
hello, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, great.
Phenomenal.
Thanks for coming.
Yes.
Thanks for having me. I always love being on these things.
Yeah,
I
good.
like talking, and this is the most productive way I can make business better by yapping. So I love podcasts so much. Yeah.
That is pretty much been my mantra for the past 10-ish months that we've been doing this.
Yeah,
so.
I was going to say that's pretty much why we do it. So
That's awesome.
yeah. So you were talking about a little bit about a fire
Yeah.
on the off. So tell us a little bit about that. Tell us kind of what happened and
Sure. So it was November.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like forever ago now, just because how much stress and how much adrenaline stuff went through the fire. Mm-hmm. But we had a house fire. We lived in an apartment building.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, an apartment fire, and it was crazy. Myself and my girlfriend lived together, and my daughter lived somewhere else with her mom. Luckily, she wasn't with me that weekend, so that was like a blessing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to bed around like a normal time. I had a big day. I was supposed to be on the Awesome Hour the next day.
Yeah. Shout out.
And shout out to Awesome Hour, no longer exists.
Yeah.
And then we heard a crackling sound.
Oh.
Like 2, 3 in the morning. It was 3. I've done this report like 50 times. So it was 3 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning. And so I opened the curtains, and I was in that kind of like dream state. You know when you wake up and you got to like hit the washer, but you're not sure if you're awake or you're asleep.
Oh yeah.
And the entire balcony was on fire.
Holy shit.
Oh,
And
shit.
for like my first thought was like, and I'm not a religious man, but I'm like, oh, I guess I went to hell. Like that's what's happening right now. Like it was because I was so like dreamy.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I snapped into it. And so fun fact, this is my second apartment fire.
No.
I was in one when I was 5. So apartment's on
Wow,
fire.
really?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's weird.
Don't rent out to this guy.
Yeah, no, don't. Yeah, hopefully my landlord's not listening. The first one was my mom, so we made fun. My sister, she has to burn an apartment down. Then we're all like bonded through fire, I guess.
Sure.
But so everything's on fire. So I yell at my girlfriend, I'm like, go get the rabbit, get the hell out of here. We have a pet rabbit, the most useless pet, but we have one.
All right.
She's hotter than me. I do what she says. So that's just how that works. So she goes and gets the rabbit, and I'm not dressed yet. I don't sleep. I sleep a la nude. And so I go out and I grab like a bottle of water. It was like a big, like one of these, like kind of like not like a hydro flask, like Visco style, but like a water bottle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to put this fire out, forgetting that it's the whole balcony.
Yeah.
So I open the patio door and I look, and it's just an inferno. I'm like, well, this is stupid. So I run back, get dressed.
Yeah.
And then I come back out and I grab my laptop because as we get into what I do, my entire life is on my laptop. All my research, my book, all my presentations, like everything is on that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't back stuff. I still haven't, but I should back stuff up. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
And so the fire is going. And I yelled at my girlfriend to go pull the alarm because there was no alarm going off.
Yeah.
And then we exited the building. And so fire investigators came. It started on our balcony. It was a tobacco smoker. I don't smoke tobacco. So they assume it was somebody that flicked us. But they don't actually know. There was no ignition source found.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so they're assuming. They have to assume, right?
Right,
Because they
yeah.
want to close the deal on the investigation.
Sure.
So it's been pretty crazy. It was interesting because as a self-defense coach, like that's kind of outside my purview. But it shouldn't be, right? So there's a great quote from a guy's name is Clint Overland. He's a former, he's done some stuff. And Clint, his quote is, self-defense starts at washing your hands, which means like, don't get sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So that's I'm kind of layering it in now to what I do in the fire investigators because the fire investigator researches you.
Sure.
And do you know what open source intel is? Facebook.
Yeah.
So
Sure,
open
yeah.
source is anything somebody can access. So the investigators research open source access stuff. So they researched my Facebook. They saw the podcast.
Right.
They did,
Yeah.
right? Because that's
Okay.
all available.
Yeah,
and
it's
so
out there. So
and
yeah.
it was actually good because I'm kind of salesman-y. I kind of talk big.
Sure.
And the investigator was a former police officer, and he's like, normally guys who talk like you are liars. He's like, I'm like, oh, good to know. He's like, but then we saw through your podcast, we're like, oh, he's just like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
is that okay? I'm just like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was pretty crazy. So insurance actually was. Everybody has horror stories about insurance. I highly recommend Impact Insurance. Everybody,
Okay. Yeah.
they
Shout
they
out.
crushed it. We had money in our account 7 hours after the fire.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it was super cool. So it was interesting. It was definitely it was kind of cool because a lot of the stuff that I teach is heavier on the psychological effect of violence and less on the physical stuff, right? So
Yeah.
while I love MMA, I don't do MMA. Clearly, I'm not in the shape to do MMA. But I do a lot of like the repercussions of violence. So you've been assaulted. Here's what's going to happen. Here's
Right,
what happens
right.
during the fight. Here's what happens before the fight. Here's what to look for.
Sure.
Yeah.
And all the things that I teach happen to me in this high stress situation. And I kind of thought like, and there's a saying that the people that feel that they're most immune are the ones that are most vulnerable. And I kind of thought I was immune to these like panic reactions.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
This is all I talk about all the freaking time. So I
Yeah.
got to be a pro.
Right.
But no, I freaked out. I grabbed my water bottle, and so I had that water bottle still, and it's just this big, huge water bottle. And so my girlfriend and everybody makes fun of me. They call it my special bottle because I saved that over like everything else, my laptop and my special water bottle.
Special bottle.
But the funny thing is, when you're under stress, and this happens in violence and everything, but the only thing that comes out is habit and ritual. Like you don't problem solve when you're under stress.
Right.
All you have is pre-existing training or conditioning that you have. So habit, ritual, etc.
Is this kind of like the Navy SEAls where you fall back to your level of training?
Yeah, so you default to a level of training, and there has to be training there, because if there's nothing there, you're just running on nothing. That's called freezing. We can get all of that if you want.
Sure.
But so every time I leave my house, I grab that water bottle.
Really?
So that was my habit when I because it's my gym bottle. It's always in my hand.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, I'm leaving. Gotta grab the water
bottle.
So I'm outside. I have this rabbit. I'm wearing just pretty much what I'm wearing now, not this shirt, and a water bottle. I'm like, what? Why? Like, it was it was interesting.
Well, thank God Edmonton wasn't minus 25 in November too.
Yeah,
so.
it wasn't too bad. And there was like I said, there's a comedy of errors that happened. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say on the show because there's still an investigation going on.
Yeah.
Sure.
But the first fire truck that showed up was, I'll tell you after the show, was disabled.
Oh.
And so the first, the fire was bad.
Yeah.
So fire doubles every minute or whatever the stat is.
Okay.
And so the firefighters arrived in like 5 minutes, which means it probably should have only got my suite and the suite above us, but there was like $3.2 million worth of damage done. So the engine gets there.
Yeah.
And it's disabled by something, because again, ongoing investigation. But so it wasn't in use. So we had to wait for the second engine, which took another 8 minutes, which gave it 3 times or twice as long time to burn. So
it's like exponential.
Exactly, because it doubles and it doubles again, like compounds, right?
Yeah.
So it was pretty crazy.
What's the state of the building right now?
I don't know. I haven't been down there. I know nobody's in it. My girlfriend is a flight attendant, and one of the flight attendants was living in her building, works with her, and he's not back in his suite yet. So, and he was like down a wing, like he wasn't even where the fire originated. But old building, right? 1979 it was built. Asbestos, like and smoke, and like when you hear fire sale and fire damage, like people don't understand, like because I'm not really a stuff person. Like I don't care that I lost. Like nobody died.
Yeah,
so that's like a shit.
That's really the important thing.
True.
Yeah,
truly.
You would say, but other people that that live with me disagree. So they miss their stuff, and so she went back to try and get some stuff, and some stuff survived because they didn't go all the way in. It started outside.
Right.
Okay. So there was stuff like the further back it was, the better it was. But water and smoke damage like made everything. Like she did take stuff, but we had to throw it out eventually.
Yeah.
Because it was just
done.
It was done.
It's done.
Yeah, most definitely.
Ruined. Wow.
So getting back to the self-defense thing, though,
Sure.
because that's like
it's kind of what I do.
Your forte. Yeah.
Other than 2 fires, that's mostly what I do.
Yeah.
My preferred.
This is the fire guy and the self-defense guy.
Seriously.
I love how you're saying that though. You take almost like a holistic approach to it. And when I was listening to the Awesome Hour, you were really getting into this, and I think you kind of you almost don't like the word holistic or whatever it is. But
I don't like it, but so English is funny.
Yeah.
So English, there's a word that describes something perfectly, and then that word gets demonized or misused, and then people hate it, and then they pick a less appropriate word.
Sure.
Holistic is that word for me.
Yeah.
Holistic is the perfect word. It's exactly what I do. But if I say holistic, you think I have chakras and crystals.
Yeah, you kind of roll your energy.
So it's all encompassing. But holistic, by definition, is the perfect word for what I do.
Exactly.
It's the entire scope of a self-defense situation. So pre-contact, contact, and post-contact. Which, because most people focus, and this is where I make my money. I get to travel around the world, so I've taught in 10 countries. Yada, brag. But I get to travel because what I do is kind of niche, right? It's not the normal thing. Like, and I'm not trying to crap on physical skills, but if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Right? So if you're like, I train martial arts and I know martial arts, but I'm like, okay, but if you would have done these 8 things, you didn't need to get in that fight.
Sure.
Yeah.
But they're like, but all my thought process. So so holistic is the great word, and that's what I do. So I teach. I primarily don't really even teach the physical skills. Not that I don't do my box and I do BJJ like everybody has to nowadays. But that's for me.
Yeah.
That's not for teaching. Right. So
for
what
sure.
I do is I go to gyms like a BJJ gym or a Krav Maga gym or a karate gym, and I'm like, okay, so you got these physical skill sets. That's awesome. But you live in the first world. This was developed in Okinawa in 1600. You could just straight up murk a fool and it didn't matter, right? Yeah. But now, there's jail and such. Right. So we have to like update the information that's out there because while the skills are good, and we can get in and out of like different types of training, why MMA is kind of taking over just because of the skill sets that happen in the pressure testing. But even with MMA, like there's some conditions that happen in MMA that don't happen in real life, right?
Sure.
There's a third party in there that is making sure you're safe.
Yep.
If you tap, it's over, right?
Yeah.
And there's all these stories the reality-based guys like myself like to share about how MMA is bad. It's not. I'm not saying MMA is bad. It's an amazing skill. So if you know MMA, you're going to be okay in most fights.
Sure.
But here's the goal. Don't get in the fight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, most definitely.
Realize it's coming, and then also like the after part. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I talked about one of my multiple stabbings on the Awesome Hour.
Yes.
But I was stabbed. So I've been stabbed a couple times. 2.5 times is my joke. And probably the same joke I made last time because I'm on repeat. So I got stabbed once in the face, and that was my fault. I didn't know anything about adrenaline. The guy was shaking. He was attacking somebody. I said, "You're not going to stab me," because I like John Wayne movies. And he was like, "Fuck you," and he did. But it was a Swiss Army knife, and it didn't get dangerous, and I won. It was fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so my beard is right here.
Oh, okay.
So we're here for the camera. And then so I got the one that I talk about the most, the one that I like built a kind of a career on, actually, even though it was only one stab, and I meet people get stabbed way more times. They just didn't leverage it as well as I did.
Sure.
Is the one to the leg, which was supposed to be to the neck. Now, while I survived that, I survived with like none of my training made me survive. I freaked out. My hands went out. I controlled the person. I thought he was wrestling me and trying to fight me. I was training very heavily in sport-based models back then. So I was doing submission grappling and I was doing Thai boxing. Not to date myself, but I'm kind of pre-MMA. I never competed in MMA and I didn't have the stones to do it. But it was like when MMA was getting big, like UFC 8. 9 maybe
really?
like
Okay.
because I'm 30 I'm 39.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it was back in the day, right? My heyday, like everybody has. And so I got stabbed. I didn't even know I was stabbed. I had to go to the hospital after they told me. But that's not even the important part of the story. The important part of the story is the year of depression that happened after.
Right.
Because so if you're looking at a sport-based model or any kind of competition, right? Like you're in sales.
Yeah.
Right? You can't be like, I suck at sales. You have to be like, I'm the best. I'm in the mirror,
Yeah,
right? Like always be
absolutely,
closing, mother.
absolutely.
Right? You have to like you got to be
ABC.
Yeah. Same thing with any competition, including fight competition.
Yeah.
So I firmly believed I was invincible. I'm a huge comic nerd. I obviously identify with Batman. I'm a martial arts nerd, and I like comics. I thought I was Batman, and then this 165-pound crack, it almost straight up killed me for $4.50 an hour on White Ave on a Wednesday.
Jesus.
And I got sad.
Yeah.
Right, I got real depressed, and I don't want to say clinical because I wasn't diagnosed, but I stopped training 100%, and I thought everything I learned was garbage.
Yeah.
And then I found a book by a guy named Rory Miller, who later became my mentor because I make shit happen.
Oh, okay.
And so I read his book, and then I stalked him like legit. I like drove to where he was, like let's be friends. And now we work together, which is really cool.
There you go. Wow.
And he talked about this. He called the freeze and the depression that happens, and all these things that nobody at the time was mentioning. Right, and the internet was really new. It wasn't on my phone back then. You couldn't look this stuff up. You had to just take the word of the BS guy with the black belt who had the mystery tournament, like that Joe Rogan story.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
like went into the woods. Like it was such a different time back then. Now, like everything's. That's why MMA is so popular, right? Because you can see, like, this guy got his ass kicked. It happened. There's a video of it, right?
Yeah.
So that's what got me fascinated. Was I had these trophies and this bullshit that that didn't matter, right? And I always make the jokes. Again, I travel, and I'm like, I was #1 in Canada, but there's only 35 million of us, so calm down. It's not a big deal, right? Like, because in the U.S. it's a way bigger, 350 million people, right?
Yeah.
But that didn't help me against junkie with no training. Right? It didn't matter. He had something sharp and almost killed me.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, okay, there's got to be a better way. Right. And so I started researching these soft skills, we call them. So hard skills are the physical, soft skills like the psychological, emotional stuff. Yeah. And so that's what I do now. And so I get to travel and do this, and it's pretty freaking awesome.
So this happened all before the self-defense thing. Like you were just strictly training like for competition.
And yes, but it was sold to me. So the competition training was sold to me as a panacea for all training.
Sure. Okay.
Right. So it was like, if you take Thai boxing, then doesn't matter what comes at you.
Yeah.
Right. Because it makes sense. And
you can go fight 165-pound crackheads.
Exactly.
And
you should.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
You should be fine.
You're exactly. You're Batman. And I was training hard. I was doing like, I was single. Right. I didn't have a kid. I was doing like 6-7 hours a day. I was in the gym.
Yeah.
Right. And I was really trained, and I'm not saying that train didn't help. I'm sure I'm alive because of it. But there was definitely ways to cut some fat off of that. And I just did this talk. I just did the podcast called The Lion's Den with Mikhail Moromo. It just came out today, actually. That's what they just messaged me.
Right. Yeah. I saw something.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So we were talking about this because he's a Thai boxer, and I'm not anymore.
Gotcha.
And I was just saying, like, there's just the MMA model is great, but the things you do, like competition inbreeds, right? So you learn the rules to break the rules. So I don't know how familiar with BJJ, but BJJ is something called a donkey entry, which is great for competition, but you bend over and then you go ass backwards into somebody.
Sure.
And you try and grab their ankle to go into a whatever, right?
Yeah.
Got it.
So while that's great for competition,
real life.
Our goal structure is different, right?
Right.
And
Yeah,
our tactics
absolutely.
are different. So we need to be prepared for as many eventualities as possible because I don't know the rule set. There might be a rule set, but I don't get to know it.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe you're fighting me and you're like, I don't kick guys in the head, but I don't know that. I don't know you have a code of honor.
Sure.
Right. Even though there is one, because everybody's like, there's no rules in a street fight. Oh, there are. You just don't know them.
Yeah.
Right. Because that person might be like, well, I can't go back to jail, so I can just, stab him one time. Right. But you can't possibly know that.
Yeah. Most
Yeah,
definitely.
exactly.
So the known that I know that there's unknowns are huge. Right. And so that's kind of where I fit in. So I would go to a BJJ school, but you guys are awesome. Like, you guys train, you're killers. You're fucking choking people out. You're awesome. But choke somebody out, that's okay. How much is BJ? $127 a month? Sure. How much is a lawyer? Because guess what, right? If you don't kill that guy, or if you do, people are gonna have questions. Whether you take down your drunk uncle trying to drive home drunk at the family reunion, or you get in a street fight, people are gonna have questions. Grandma or a judge like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And you need to explain that, and that's where the martial arts world is doing a disservice to people. Is they're not learning how to articulate. They're not learning why they do what they do. They're just dominating. And while in the sport context is good, you get in a lot of trouble in the street. There's a story. I'll let you guys talk in a second, I promise.
I'm enjoying this.
I have
Keep
so
going.
many questions. I just keep writing shit down.
yeah.
So
There's a story of so do you guys know what the Abu Dhabi grappling championship is?
No.
Okay, so it's like the ultimate. It's like, so sultans bring in the best wrestlers to perform for them. So it's
okay.
like this huge deal in the grappling.
Okay.
Yep.
There was a 2-time Abu Dhabi champ. So guy's legit. Guy's
Yep.
straight up awesome.
Yep.
He and again, I want to preface one more time because in case you have BJJ listeners, I'm not saying grappling is bad. I'm saying the tactics are different when it's a predator.
sure.
2 men jumped this guy outside because he had a bunch of stuff on him. They didn't know who he was. So he straight double leg take down the first dude. That dude was done. Solid. Second guy pulled a knife because unfortunately, here's what happens.
Yeah.
If you punch me super hard, I don't go, I want to punch this. I'm going to grab a tool. I'm going to call a friend. I'm going to grapple.
Yeah.
I'm going to change. Humans don't like losing.
Yeah.
And we're tool-based pack hunters. That's what we are. We're not going to take a tiger in a fist fight.
Interesting. Yeah.
Right? We're
Yeah.
tool-based pack hunters. So when predators are looking at like, I want to take that UFC guy, they're not going to be like, what's up? Let's hit the cage and be like, when does he get drunk?
Yeah.
What time does
Yeah.
he go to bed?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're going to hunt like we hunt any other animal larger, which is every other animal on the planet.
Yeah.
So we have this skill set, right? Yeah. So anyways, guy pulls a knife. The Abu Dhabi champ grabbed him, put him in an armbar, put him on the ground, was going to break his arm.
Yeah.
Dude tapped. Abu Dhabi champ let go and got stabbed 7 times in the chest.
Oh.
And again,
Wow.
and everybody's like, what a dumb move. I'm like, no,
But it's
his
programmed.
his
Yeah.
conditioning, his repeatable, successful attempts and reps always let go of tap. He thought he had won.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is that there's more to this than just kicky and punchy and chokey, right?
Yeah.
There's other
Yeah,
things.
for sure.
Yeah. It's survival at the end of the day, right?
Exactly. And like I firmly believe self-defense should affect your life as little as possible. So what I mean by that is like, I hate when people are like, so there was this stupid study on Facebook, like women who have ponytails are more likely to be attacked by by predators.
Sure.
No, they asked one dude in a prison. They made this like BuzzFeed article, garbage.
I read your article about statistics too. We'll probably get into that.
Okay,
as well.
well, you guys really did your research.
little-
Thank you
a
very
little bit-
much.
a little bit, a
I
little bit.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
2 podcasts, that's more than I've done on you guys. I'm like, what is this called? Hi. So it's an interesting field to be in. And when people, they don't understand, right? Because they think, again, everything looks like a nail when all you have is a hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, let me take that all in, absorb that information a little bit.
Well, you pretty much like in the street fight. You don't. Not that
Yeah.
I've been in too many.
Sure.
I've been sucker punched once or twice, but like a real street fight, no. But I mean,
What do you find as a real street fight, though?
well, I guess
Getting
maybe
where you sucker punch in the street?
yes.
Street fight cred.
All right, street.
I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
I've been
for
in
sure.
street fights, ladies. There you go.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's an interesting point that, I don't know. When I first heard your stuff, I thought it was very interesting and a very practical approach, especially for like, I don't know, who is kind of your target client? Is it sort of everyone, or is it kind of,
Yeah, great question.
or is it retraining someone who's already trained, I guess?
No. So, like, we have to look at it, right? Because, like, even though when I use the example of if I want to take down UFC fighter and do this, most predators aren't taking down UFC fighters,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
every hunter hunts different. And so when I say hunter, I mean, like, people that are predating on people. So you can't I hate when people give black or white answers, right? Like, walk with confidence. Okay?
Yeah.
What if the predator likes to rape confident women, then you're on a predator. It just, every hunter hunts
Right.
different.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So what you need to do is just like, who I train was the question. Who I train is primarily people that are, I guess, I kind of only talk to the anointed, right? People that have already kind of experienced this. So I did martial arts and it failed me in real life, or I'm a woman and this, my husband beat me. I work on reserves. I work with underprivileged people. I work with former and current sex workers. I work at Krav Maga gyms. Anybody will have me, really. Right? So
gotcha.
I don't have like a demographic for marketing. I haven't. I'm sure I will eventually, but I haven't needed it yet. I'm doing pretty good with just like the social media stuff. And then somebody sees it and like, hey, this is interesting. We need this at our gym. Yeah.
It kind of is a universal concept, though. At the end of the day, you want to be protecting yourself.
Yeah.
You don't want to live your life in a bubble.
No.
Because I was going to say to you, well, just don't go to the bar then, man, or something like that, right?
Well, and that's great advice. So like statistically, so quote unquote, I don't like statistics, but I'm going to use them because they're good for conversation.
Yeah.
The most dangerous demographic you have is between the ages of 14 to 24 in the first world.
Right.
In the first world.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're in between the ages of 14 to 24, that's when most sexual assaults happen. That's where most damage happens, where most street fights happen. Because you're 14 to 24, right? You're going through stuff. So, obviously you could take a prepper mentality of like, I want to stay in my basement.
Sure.
But if you want to have a social life, right, you got to go to these places. And so I think I have like these like couple like quick clickbait tips on how to stay safe. And one of them is don't go to places where 14 to 24-year-olds get their minds altered. But guess what? That's where all the coolest shit happens. That's the fun place to go.
That's where you want to be.
Exactly. So when you're there, I use a model of evade, which is if you don't have to be there, don't be there. If not, escape. So the next thing is escape. I don't know how much you guys know about plane crashes. I'm a research guy. You probably might have noticed. And my girlfriend's a flight attendant, and I fly a lot.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm a white knuckle flyer because I'm not in control. I'm a little bit of a control freak.
Sure.
And so I did all the research on plane crashes.
Yeah.
And plane crashes are actually super survivable. Like the odds, they only talk about the ones that don't go well, but like they're not too bad.
Yeah.
If you make an escape plan. So when they're doing the safety dance,
Yeah.
don't read your book.
Yeah, you should be listening.
You should be listening.
Okay.
And so remember how I said before, when all that comes out is habit and ritual?
Yeah.
Just seeing that once puts something in your brain, so you have something to go to when that situation happens. If you have nothing, then you hit what's called an overwhelmed freeze or fixation, which means you are overwhelmed and all you can think of is being overwhelmed because you have no other habit to supersede that.
Yes.
So it's like getting punched in the face for the first time, like, oh, I got punched in the face. And you go into freeze, like your body freeze, and you go into fixation.
Right.
That hurt more than I thought. Why'd that person punch me? What did I do? That's a fixation. That's not helpful. This is not the time to problem solve. It's time to not get punched a second time.
Right.
But once you have a habit, bang, bang, you're better. Right? And so just seeing something one time is better than nothing. So evade. Don't go somewhere. If not, escape. So when I say, okay, so you're going to a house party, 14, 24-year-olds get their minds altered, shit could happen. It might not.
Yep.
Right? But it could. Have an escape plan. Know you're the fastest way out from the top floor, the basement. It takes 2 seconds. Jason Bourne this. Where they? You don't need to know how far you can run. You don't need to know the license plates. Right? But you just need to know where the exits are. And honestly, that's made a huge difference. Can I tell one more story? Is that okay?
Please.
So so I'm big in MMA, and I used to coach MMA fighters, but they failed because they were doing the street fighting stuff. And so I stopped. And also, I'm not a good corner person. I want to help my friends. I had my friend Ryan, my co-host on Talking to Savages, Ryan, when we were around Rother, when he was first competing, I was his corner man. And I got carpal tunnel from trying to throw the towel, and he's like, no. But he got his butt kicked. So we're at an event watching Ryan fight. I was no longer there, but I was with 2 RCMP officers, so they're friends of mine. I'm not going to say their names because they don't come out great in the story. A riot started because one of the fighters couldn't come or something, and an actual riot started. So I'm like, guys, come this way. And I got them outside. And they were like, how did you do that? I'm like, do what? They're like, how'd you get us out of there? Like, you took charge. I'm like, well, I walk in, I look for the exits, don't you? They're like, yeah, like we're supposed to. I'm like, well, maybe do that because that's why I look like a freaking a superhero right now. And you guys were panicking, and you had to follow civilian McGee outside when you're like these badasses, right? So after escape, if you can't do that, then de-escalate your next step, right? So if you could talk your way out of this. I say we, there's not a mouse in my pocket. The people that I work with, we categorize violence into 3 categories. So there's category 1 is called status-based violence. That's your what's up, bro, that's my girlfriend, that's my seat stuff.
Gotcha. Yep.
Most of that, if you give them a face-saving way out, it's going to end. Right? So College Humor did like a great bit on it, or It's Funny or Die. One of the, I get them confused. But they're the 2 guys fighting. And then their head's like, why is nobody pulling us apart yet? Right? That's kind of a thing because you got to bro up, right? Status stuff, I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm not saying people don't die, but it is the easy to de-escalate.
Right.
Social violence is pack hunting. Right? So if you get selected by a pack, you're in trouble. There's just like, you get picked because you're wearing the wrong color in the neighborhood, right? Not that the Bloods are up here, but great example for a white dad.
Sure. Yeah, most definitely.
Right? So then you're in trouble. You can de-escalate through extreme violence or through connecting with them. Right. So hostage negotiation 101 is being as many, I'm going to say the word tribe, but I don't mean in any sort of insensitive way. Be in any group you can be in. So are you a dad? Oh, I'm a dad. Right.
Yeah.
So you want to identify with your kidnapper, same thing with a group.
Gotcha.
And the last thing, which I kind of focus most of my attention on, not that it's the least common, but the most talked about, which is predatory violence. And that's like you, right? Serial killer.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the muggers. And they want one of three things: your property, your body, your life. That's it.
Sure.
That you are as important to them as the hamburger wrapper is on your hamburger when you're hungry. You are just the resource carrier for what the fuck they want, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people are like, well, if somebody comes at me, like, should I connect with them? Like, no. Can you connect with, do you go connect with cows unless you're vegan? Maybe not, right? It's just not a thing. So they're looking at you as you're the thing in the way of me getting what I want, your property, your body, your life.
Gotcha.
And this is what I like to do. In those situations, de-escalation is also different, right? You have to not be on the threat profile list or understand what to do, and then just not getting moved to a secondary location. So this is like a lot of the lessons. That, obviously, these are much deeper lessons with like PowerPoints, all that shit.
Yes.
But this is like a quick overview of like, and then after, if de-escalate doesn't work, then you have to go physical. Like there's just no option.
Right. Okay.
But here's the thing: giving people permission to go physical is very important. Because even though you train it in the gym, you might be too scared to do it outside. And through all of my travel and all my research, I've been doing this 10 years now full time.
Yeah.
Good people are so scared of going to jail, they'll freeze. And bad people know exactly what they're fucking allowed to do.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
my job is to tell you what you're allowed to do. You
Right.
live in Canada. You guys live in Edmonton. I can tell you literally exactly as far as you can go. I'm not a lawyer. It's not legal advice.
But you've probably read the books.
Read the books. I've consulted on cases. I've talked to people about this. So it is, it's an interesting. It's interesting. Like especially people like to pick on Canada's self-defense laws. Our self-defense laws are actually pretty decent.
Oh, really? Okay.
They're not really that bad. There was a case that happened in 2012 in Toronto where a guy got robbed. And they changed the law of the defense of person because he attacked a guy while he was defending his property. And then the law didn't allow that, but they switched it up. So it's pretty cool.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a lot here.
So they made it even more favorable then.
It's a lot more favorable for the person defending themselves. That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I was going to say, because, I mean, we live in this society where everybody's supposed to be nice to everybody, and that's not really, I mean, we're still humans in our core, right?
Well,
So,
yeah. And I think, and this is probably seems to be an overarching point from your teachings and stuff, but you don't know that other person has the same rules of engagement or the same politeness or niceness if you do, right? Like so.
So being friends with cops is not favorable in this climate. I'm a fan of cops. I work with police officers. I've trained the Alaskan State Troopers, and I work with the Ramsey County SWAT team once a year. So I'm friends with these people.
Wow, okay,
I think they're cool. That was a very humble brag. I didn't mean to, but it's important. I stand behind police most of the time. There's bad people in all jobs.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
But what drives me crazy is the softening of the police and the softening of people's physical boundaries and people being more polite. Because guess who's not getting softer?
the
bad
guys.
Criminals,
Yeah.
bad guys.
They're exactly the same.
Yeah.
So if we, like, and again, we have to take some teeth out of some police officers. I get that. But this blanket fix isn't always great.
Mm-hmm.
So while we are, and it's funny, so people make fun of my course. So I have this course called Pre-Attack Cues and Boundary Setting. And it's one of my most popular courses. I teach it everywhere. And if you're over 45, you think the class is stupid because this is what you learn on the playground. But guess what? If you're under 45, you don't learn that shit. You're talking through a screen, right? Everything's different. You don't understand body language, social cues. You don't, unless you're a salesperson, unless you're working with the public a lot.
Right.
And people with antisocial tendencies, not in a dangerous way, but like who don't want to talk to people, have way more resources now. They don't ever have to learn them. In 1950, if you had Asperger's, you had to learn how to be at the table with your family.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
But now you don't. So I'm not saying it's better or worse. I'm just saying that the cues are different.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No,
And so-
I follow you.
Does that
for
make
sure.
sense?
Yeah.
So showing people what to do is funny. And the way I always counter the old dogs, because they're always like, well, this is stupid. I just send them a text my daughter sent me that's pretty much hieroglyphics, just emojis.
Yeah.
I'm like, what does that say? And they're like, well, I don't know. I'm like, oh, you're stupid then, right? Because obviously you should know everything like these kids should know, right?
Right,
No,
right,
it's
yeah.
just different skill sets.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. Well, I kind of think of, like, for example, the UK and what's going on there with their knife laws, for example. Like, that's a huge, like, for me, that's indicative of what's going on, where it's like, well, you need a license to own a butter knife, and the bad guys are still got the machetes and stuff. So
It's so there's some insane. So we live in a world now where if you agree with somebody 90% of the time and disagree with them 10% of the time, you're on the opposite team.
Yes.
So to
Yeah.
my conservative
true.
friends, I sound like a liberal. To my liberal friends, I sound like a conservative. Right?
100%.
That's just right.
True,
That's just how
true.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes to self-defense law, I'm very conservative.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look at the numbers, and again, stats aren't 100%, but it's all the info we have
Yeah.
from all the people we reported. Criminals aren't like, oh, let's run these drugs. Oh, but don't bring that knife. That shit's illegal, right? Like,
Does everyone have
We
a
don't want-
license for their guns?
we don't want to
today?
get in real trouble here. Let's just
Yeah.
human traffic these people, but no guns. That'll get
Yeah,
us
yeah.
really fired up. So it's an interesting situation.
Yeah.
And same thing, right? Like people are going to kill people, but I kind of changed my views on this. I was very pro-gun until Las Vegas happened.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think Canada, I'm biased. I live here.
Yeah.
But I think Canada has it right. I own guns, but I went through a course. I have a license. They know what my guns look like and
Yeah.
sound like and whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The car analogy, right? You got to get a license to drive a car. You got to get a license to get a gun. It is very good. South of the border, my friends are very conservative.
Sure.
Yep.
And it's such a part of their culture, right? So
Absolutely.
it's never going to change. But I think like around the world, like taking away weapons from everybody is dumb. But also letting anybody have weapons is dumb too. It's just like it's a fallacy. So there's a fallacy called the middle, which is everything's never black or white to the middle. But
Yeah.
this is one of those ones where it kind of rings true.
Yeah.
Like there should be a program. You should have something because everybody who has a gun in all the mass shootings, nobody bought them legally.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think maybe okay. Don't quote me. Maybe somebody, but percentage low end that was a legally obtained firearm.
Oh, most definitely.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like so, it's insane. And now in the UK, they have knives and they kill each other with knives. So while I do agree they should like, there's certain things you don't need if you're hunting. Like you don't need 20 fucking clip magazines. You don't need whatever, right?
Yeah.
But it's because Vegas, right? That guy.
Yeah.
Like, there's no. Everybody's like, oh, the only thing you stop a bad person with a gun is a good person with a gun. That's
Sure.
incorrect. It's a good
Yeah.
person with training who's willing to use it with a gun.
Yeah.
But the person
doesn't freeze.
who's can walk up
Yeah.
a flight of stairs.
Yeah.
And isn't like, oh, I don't need that. I can eat nachos and just shoot people. It's a talisman. I'm invincible.
Yeah.
But when the people, that guy, like there was no stopping that guy. If anybody had a handgun, they're not shooting 50 stories up. They're not.
Yeah.
That's got to stop.
Yeah.
That was insane that one person could get that many weapons with a red flag.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so what I do like about the gun restriction is that like while people will kill each other with knives, it's a lot more manageable, right? Like
Right,
they're not going
right.
to kill 200 people with a knife,
No.
but they'll also just get fertilizer and blow up a truck. So like it's
Yes. Yeah. I guess, right? So
Absolutely. So what do you think about like concealed carry, like for self-defense?
So for me, concealed, I don't really understand concealed carry, and I'm sure if you have gun fans on that, they're going to educate me online. But
Yeah.
I think the point of a gun is the deterrence.
Yeah.
So hiding it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Probably true.
But I would say maybe, now I'm thinking about it, the counterpoint would be if you don't know if somebody has a gun, then you have to assume everybody has a gun.
Sure. And
Yeah.
I mean, in the
So-
States,
kind of
So
an
maybe
impasse
in the
there.
States-
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I just changed my view right
Yeah.
there. That might have
Wow.
just happened.
well, maybe Texas is a really safe state because everybody's packing.
It's very polite.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everybody's packing.
They did a study. There's this book called you can read it if you want, but it's like a textbook unless
Yeah.
you're in the field. It's called Better Nature of Our Angels by Stephen Pinkerton.
Okay.
I'm a huge nerd researcher.
Yeah.
And they did the study where they had the two of the same resumes, and one was the resume. They're both felons, quote unquote. They're fake. And the resume was identical for name, everything, except one was a property crime and one was a physical assault. And they did they put them out to every businesses, and they did like a study, and pretty much right down the middle of the United States, if you did a physical assault in northern states, you weren't going to get hired. But if you did a property crime in the southern states, you were going to get hired. So reverse that. So in the southern states, they're like, you killed somebody, I get it, but don't touch my stuff. Right? And in the northern states, they were like, oh my God, you hurt somebody? Like we
Yeah.
get taking stuff, right? And so it was just
Yeah.
such a cultural
Gotcha.
divide.
Yeah.
It was very interesting.
Interesting. Actually, I remember learning a little bit about that in university psychology courses, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
toes in the water. But the American South has a very much like defending their honor and even kind of self-policing, which you can trace back to the Wild West. Of
Yeah.
those states historically kind of had to defend your own property and,
Yeah.
and manage the law yourselves in many ways.
Well,
So-
especially Texas, right? Because Texas isn't technically part of the union, right? They can leave whenever they want.
Oh, right.
So Texas is the Republic of Texas. They're
Yeah.
like it's like Texas, and then I just watched a comedy. I don't know what it was. The Simpsons actually.
Yeah.
And the guy was like a band all the way from outside of Texas. They're like the Sex Pistols, like, but from outside of Texas. Right? So it doesn't matter.
Gotcha, yeah.
Everywhere is outside of Texas.
Yeah.
But it's very honor based, and it's a lot more play because they'll draw
Yeah.
down on you, right?
Yeah.
And so while gun violence is higher, property crime's way down, right? So it's
Yeah.
like give and take.
Yeah. Most definitely.
Intriguing. Yeah.
I don't have the solutions.
No,
No, God,
by
me
no
either.
means.
No. And that's the thing. There's so many different, so misnomer in Canada. A lot of people think that because most of us get our legal education from TV shows from a country that you don't live in.
Sure.
So, right? So
That's very well said.
a lot of people think I want to press charges. In Canada, the complainant doesn't press charges. The Crown presses
right,
charges.
yeah.
Right.
So the police decide. You can pressure them and make them do it, right? But it's not mandatory. Where in the States, they have to process everything. So everybody's like, so our way's better. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
here's the thing. Our way's better in less red tape, but our way's worse for corruption.
Because everybody sues everybody for everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But here, the police, if they don't want to press charges, they
Sue
don't-
me, bro.
Yeah, that's assault.
Exactly.
If they don't want to press charges,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so the police will be like, oh, this guy's a criminal, but I know him.
Yeah.
Wink, no charges.
Yeah.
So corruption's bad, but red tape's down. In the
Absolutely.
Yeah.
States, red tape's up, but I would arguably say corruption will be down.
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Most
It's not a
definitely.
perfect scale, but
Well, and the
yeah.
U.S., because again, one more time, I travel. When I go to, when I'm in Denmark, for example, everybody's like, the U.S., what's that about? I'm like, okay, so you have to understand the U.S. is like 50 little countries. You all look at it like this one homogenous unit.
But
Yeah.
It's not. I've been to a bunch of the states, and I was in,
Very different.
Massachusetts has, the way their knife laws work is each sheriff of the town decides a knife law. So I bought a knife in northern Massachusetts,
Yeah.
and I drove into Boston, and it was legal, then illegal, then restricted, then legal. And every town I drove through, the classification of my knife changed.
Oh wow, really?
That's crazy.
Same knife, but
Same knife,
Yeah.
and same state.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's insane.
it
Yeah.
changed, right?
Yeah.
And you could drive across the border. So New Hampshire's right above it, and you can buy fireworks and guns and yeehaw. But Massachusetts is very, very other end of the spectrum. My
Gotcha.
friends in Massachusetts, I don't agree, but they say that's where liberty was born and shall die, right? So it started there. That's where everything happened. But yeah,
Interesting.
Gotcha. Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah, for Europeans looking at the U.S., it's worlds
think it's-
different.
they think
Worlds
it's one
different.
place, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
the joke is in North America we think 100 years is a long time, and in Europe they think 100 miles is a long distance. Right? So.
Yeah.
But it's true. Like when I was in Denmark, I'm like, oh, let's go here. Or I was in Tilburg, Netherlands, and Paris is 3.5 hours away. That's like South Calgary.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable.
So I'm like, let's go. They're like, you want to go all the way to Paris? I'm like, all the way? I think I can see it from here. What are you talking about? But I'm a prairie person, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we travel.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
That's Edmonton to Calgary, stopping at Pete's and Red Deer. kind of
Exactly.
thing, right?
And they don't get it.
Yeah.
Because like I was in Germany. I was in Berlin for a bit.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so I Google Map, I wanted to go to this one thing in Berlin, the Berlin Wall, duh.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, okay, where's the next stop? And so literally it was like, 5 minutes away is another huge piece of history. Then 5 minutes away is another huge piece of history. All of a sudden I was like 4 hours away from where I started at Checkpoint Charlie. But I was like, but it was every 5 minutes. Like there's this is this and this. And that's how all Europe is. It's just everywhere you
for
go.
sure.
Like Rome takes 2 weeks, just the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of our buddies actually wrote a book.
Cool.
And he talks about how it's a very Canadian thing to think of distance in time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that is a
Calgary's 3.5
Canadianism.
hours
Yeah.
away,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the Europeans would be like, that's 300 kilometers away. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't leave.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I remember even kind of on that note, but a little bit of an aside, but reading Arnold's book, Schwarzenegger,
Yeah.
right? Because he got into like some property real estate development in California when he was relatively early in his career.
Yes.
And he's like, this is hilarious because if a building's 50 years old in America, everyone freaks out about the historical significance and wants to save it. So he could apply for all these grants and stuff. But he's like, in Europe, unless something's 300 years old, no one gives a shit about it. Right?
Minimum. My first trip
true.
to Scotland, I climbed up a tower that was like 4 times older than our country. Like it was, and it was still standing. It was like, oh, go on up. I'm like,
Yeah. Are you sure? Yeah. It's like in the UK, they have pubs that are like 200, 300, 400 years old or
yeah,
whatever.
minimum.
Yeah.
That's like a joke pub. You're
Yeah.
like, this is 300 years old. Why are you even talking about it?
Yeah.
Lame.
Oh, the new pub on the street? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, they don't build things to last anymore, man.
Not here. My friends in Germany, when they heard about the fire, circling all the way back, they were like, are things commonly built of wood there? I'm like, yes, German efficiency. We have a lot of wood. Like, I don't know what to tell you here. But
You mean it wasn't all steel?
yeah, this doesn't
And-
make, and rock
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
And the walls were all white, like it's a hospital? What?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. That was very funny as a real estate person. I like that joke a little more than I should have, maybe. Oh, man. That's good. Awesome. So Oh yeah, and your like international travels, like, do you kind of teach relatively the same course, give or take?
Yeah, so I'm actually switching my business model right now.
Okay.
So kind of an interesting time to ask that question.
Interesting.
All right.
Yep.
So I used to teach. So I teach. I've been doing this. I got a black belt, Taekwondo black belt, like 17, through a very traditional instructor. I've been doing this my whole life.
Yep.
Since I was 10 years old. I saw the Power Rangers. I'm like, I'm fucking doing that shit. Like, those guys aren't getting bullied. I was the
Yep.
fattest fucking kid. So I'm like, I need to not be that kid.
Yeah.
And so I've been doing this forever. To my perceived forever. So I have the ability or the capacity to teach multiple courses.
Gotcha.
And so when I first kind of broke, because like becoming an international speaker is tough, right? Let alone when you're kicking and punching, right? It's hard, and language barriers and whatever,
sure.
right? And I'm just some chubby Canadian. Like, who the fuck's listening to me? So that I at the time, like when you open a business, you service every client with whatever the client wishes, right? So like, do you have knife defense course? I can make one. Do you have? Oh, I can make one, right? Like
Yeah.
I can do
Gotcha.
that. If I
Yeah.
can come to freaking the Netherlands, like I'll do whatever you want me to do. Now I'm a big enough deal. I don't need to do that anymore, and so I'd rather blow them out of the water with a course I put all my attention to instead of like something I whip together. So
Yeah,
I
okay.
just
Gotcha.
kind of, I'm gonna go sales speaky here, but I just kind of shifted down to 3 core offerings. So I have what I call the realities of violence seminar. It's
Yeah.
a up to 3-day seminar, 2 days minimum. I have what's called the Double-Edged Sword Seminar, which is myself and one of my partners that works with Randy King Live. That's my international company, KPC Martial Arts or Self-Defense rather, is the Edmonton company.
Yeah. Okay.
Run by a guy named Thor. I no longer run it. I guest coach.
Oh, okay.
'Cause I'm traveling a lot. Like I
Yeah.
do about 30 dates a year.
Well.
And then so Randy King Live, because I love my name, is me live, right? So
Yeah,
you saw
yeah,
me on
absolutely.
on the TV or on social media. Now I'm here.
Yeah.
And so that's where I do my seminars.
Gotcha.
And so I have somebody who works with me. Her name is Tammy Yard McCracken. She is a psychologist based off trauma psychology, who also is a Krav Maga instructor. And so we
really?
met. Yeah, and she's amazing. I call her an elf. She's 50 years old, and you would never guess. She looks. I look older than her. So anyway, so we've teamed up, and so I get to put Dr. McCracken on all my research now, which is pretty awesome.
Right.
Awesome.
But so we have that called Double-Edged Sword, and that's a really cool course because I mentioned the 3 types of violence.
Yeah.
Right. Status, social, predatory.
Yeah.
I've never really experienced predatory violence, to be honest. I'm a big dude. Like, you guys are both pretty tall guys, but I'm a big guy.
Oh, for sure.
I'm
Yeah.
loud.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think you'd say I was unconfident or meek, right? So
Yeah.
there's just people.
Nope.
No. there's just situations I'm not gonna encounter.
Yeah.
And while I can understand them anecdotally and while I can research them, I still don't know them intrinsically. But
Right.
I do know status-based violence intrinsically. I was a bouncer for 11 years. I did private security work,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I've done that. I've done that thing. Tammy has been stalked twice. She has had some other horrible stuff happen
wow,
to
really?
her. Yeah.
Yeah.
And both stalk are stalked differently. She's the reason we say everybody hunts different. The first stalker stalked in like a very like the show
Yeah,
you
yeah,
way.
yeah.
And one stalker, I don't want to take her story, but she's not gonna be on the show. So
Is she from here?
she's not. She's from Washington D.C.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So
Highly unlikely.
If
Steal
she was
away.
if she was here, I'd be like, talk to her instead of me.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
But her second stalker, he firmly believed that they were going to get married. He knew she was planning a wedding with her husband right now, but he thought he was going to get married. And how she found out she was being stalked was something fucking crazy, and it's gonna blow your mind. It blew my mind at least. She was late to go to class one day. She was taking her degree, and she got a phone call from the guy downstairs. He's like, "Hey, are you okay?" She's like, "Yeah, why?" Well, normally you shower at this time, so I thought maybe you got hurt. Right? How does that make right?
What?
I don't have that. Nobody
Jeez.
cares when I shower.
No.
Right? So the Double-Edged Sword seminar is I go deep dive status, she goes deep dive predatory, and then we combine for the social aspects on because she's a 5-foot female, I'm a
Yeah.
6'1" dude.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we kind of stay in our lane, which is pretty neat. And then I
Gotcha.
offer
Yeah.
a workplace violence seminar.
Right.
So I come into your workplace, it's all educational, and we talk about bullying, harassment, the differences. We talk about boundary setting and pre-attack cues and how to know if somebody's getting angry and how to de-escalate yourself. So
Yeah.
those are the 3 things I offer now. So I used to teach a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And I still do because I have, obviously I have reoccurring clients, right?
Yeah,
So they
for
don't
sure.
want the basic seminar. But now I'm going deep with the Reality of Violence seminar solo and the workplace stuff here in Canada.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Great
Interesting.
marketing with the 3 core offerings.
Yeah, that's good.
That is
That
like-
is good. You
That's
don't want to
like
have
textbook. There you go.
that's textbook marketing for sure. Absolutely. Yep. Cool. Can we take a quick pause, guys? I gotta deal with something. If that's okay.
That's
We'll
totally
fire
fine, yeah.
back up.
No worries.
Awesome.
actually listening to you.
Yeah,
it makes a
absolutely.
difference.
Yeah, most definitely.
I know when
So-
you take notes on a phone, everybody's
Yeah.
like, get a phone. I'm like, I'm actually taking notes.
Yeah, it's like,
But-
fuck you, man.
I'm tweeting, "Get me the fuck out of here."
Randy was the worst choice for a guest.
Just texting Josh the whole time.
Never again.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kidding.
Well,
So,
Thomas
anyways,
is cutting deals on the podcast. So
yeah.
now we're
So
back on.
now that we're back,
Got to get that hustle.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right.
I wanted to hit like a little bit more of like a deeper topic because you were talking about depression. And
Sure,
everything,
yeah.
too. What are your kind of thoughts on how everybody's depressed today?
I got a not popular opinion on this.
Okay.
So self-diagnosis is such a rabbit hole. Okay. Right? And everybody gets sad. And I think,
WebMD.
but yeah, it's a problem. And I think
Yeah.
it's the social media experiment is going to win, but it's failing right now. The problem that people forget is they don't. I have a story connected to everything, so I'll tell you a story in a second. But you have to remember that you're the only person that sees your behind the scenes, and you only see everybody else's highlight reel.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and so
yeah.
people are looking at this. People are looking at this. Oh, apparently that was deep. You like that?
I like that.
But
Yeah.
but people like they don't understand. So I have a story. So oh my God, I keep saying this. I was traveling with my girlfriend, and I'm such a big deal. I'm just gonna brush dust off my shoulder. I was with my girlfriend. We're traveling a lot, and
Yeah.
so I was home for a bit, and she was home for a bit. This is my last girlfriend, not my current girlfriend. So hopefully she'll listen to this because I'll get in trouble because I'm not allowed to have other girlfriends. But I'm
Me as
making
well.
her sound awful. She's like the nicest lady, and she's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
So we get to. She's always like, oh, so we're watching this couple, these friends of ours, and they're everywhere. We're starting to get jealous. We're at home, we're jealous. We're like, oh man, like we're trying to keep up with the Joneses. And so anyways, we would go to a mixer at a masquerade ball hosted by Mukai Romo. And we were there, and he comes up. He's like, dude, like what? He's like, you got to stop posting pictures. I'm like, why? He's like, my girlfriend's jealous of your life. I'm like, we're jealous of your life. So it was kind of a crazy like peek behind the curtain. Like we want to be them.
Yeah.
They wanted to be us, and nobody was happy.
yeah, weird.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, 100%.
That is well, yeah.
So
that's
I-
a very good story actually for that. So,
Right? Yeah. I think it's interesting because like depression is coming to the forefront of people's conversation.
Yeah.
I think we talked about words earlier. You can be sad and not depressed,
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
right? But the
yeah.
word depression has become this catch-all for any type of negative feeling.
Right.
Right? Like, oh, I'm depressed by this weather. Are you? Are you like not able to leave your house? Are you not eating? Are you? Do you need medication? No, I'm just not in a good mood. That's the word you want to use.
Yeah.
And so people are using this depression diagnosis. And the other thing too is like everybody. Depression it's probably been around for a long time. So my brain's entirely quotes and memes. You probably caught that. And so I saw a meme, and it was a guy said, "Man, there's so many cases of autism lately. Like, what's happening?" And the guy's like, "Well, they found it, so they know it's there." He's like, "Well, what was it before?" He's like, "Well, they discovered Mount Everest in 1960 or 1864, but I'm sure that motherfucker was there the whole time, right? Like, so just because we know it's there." And so I don't know if everybody's depressed. I think it's just that people are more open to talk about it now.
Yeah.
And English is a very subjective language.
Right.
Yes.
So, like, if the word a lot is my favorite example. So, if I said I lost a lot of blood,
Yeah.
call an ambulance. If my daughter said she lost a lot of blood, get a Band-Aid, right? So it's the word a lot,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
so it means different to different people. I think
Yeah.
that's the problem with depression is
Yeah.
people are using the word incorrectly.
Yeah, how
Yeah.
there's like a range of like, oh, I'm sad today to literal clinical can't get out of bed
Yeah.
depression type of thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, I have friends that have clinical depression. That's why I even say in my story, like I don't think I was clinically depressed because I wasn't diagnosed, but I was in a bad spot for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was prolonged. Right? It's like a post-traumatic stress syndrome that is used way too much. So PTSD does exist.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
The most important part of PTSD is the word P,
Yeah.
post.
Right.
If you're in stress, that's just stress, traumatic stress disorder. That's normal.
Yeah.
It's when you're still feeling that way from that bad event 6 months later, post the stress. People forget the post.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, I saw a movie, I got PTSD from it. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Right? If in 8 months you still can't see the Joker and you're crying, you got PTSD now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just people are self-diagnosing, and I think that's
Yeah.
the issue. So while I think the same amount of people are depressed, I think everybody has a platform now. Everybody has a platform, right? So they have the ability to talk about it, which is good. I think it's making some people more aware, but also it's kind of having the reverse effect of now some people are just glazing over.
Yeah.
We're like, of course you're depressed, right? And oh
Yeah.
my God, right? And people are using excuses.
Almost
and,
the opposite of the intention.
exactly.
Sort of,
And it's I'm going to go back to that example of like in 1950, you had to learn how to have supper, or I had to go to the grocery store. Now you don't, right? So we had that fire. I Amazoned everything. I feel really bad because local business, blah, blah, blah. But the prices, and it comes to my door. Like, it was so hard to beat. We only had X amount of insurance money.
Yeah.
And like, so I mentioned Dungeons & Dragons, I don't know if on the show, but I'm a huge nerd and I love Dungeons & Dragons. And my daughter's into it now.
Yeah.
And so we bought a core set, but we need a second player's handbook. So I went to a local business here, Warp, where I used to act. My first job was actually at Warp 2 on 97th Street. And so I went to Warp 1 on White Ave. And I went to look at the book, and so we bought an adventure, but I'm like, God, $65 for a player's handbook. I can't. We already have one. It was $38 on Amazon, or $32 on Amazon. I'm like, well, now we need one, right? So it just became this issue. So anyways, back to what you're saying. I think the self-diagnosis is an issue, and people need to remember, again, the highlight reel thing, right? Like you don't see them having a painful shit. You don't see them, right? You don't see that stuff.
Even little stuff like that, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. Well,
go ahead.
I was going to say, so I feel to go back to the point of kind of it's a competition as well.
Yeah, it is.
I think that plays into the depression kind of side of things too, where it becomes a competition of who has the most depression or whatever in a kind of a weird, perverse way, right? And that's my observation.
Well, it's almost like a virtual signaling of like, I'm more depressed than you are.
Yeah.
Well, right, and it becomes that one-upmanship, right? That escalation of it. And I'm sure there's subgroups where like I feel like. So this is, I got to really phrase this properly because I don't want to sound like an asshole here. But taking the role of the victim is, what I mean by taking the role of the victim is you are not a victim. You are taking the mantle of victim. Like you are deciding that you want to be. There seems to be some value in that nowadays. And there seems to be some way to gain some kind of status by taking the mantle of the victim. Like maybe the same thing with depression.
Yeah, I'd agree. So,
right? Yeah, like it's
in a situation where you don't need to. You're kind of almost choosing. In a way.
Exactly.
So,
like you're like, you could be Eeyore for sure. Like everything happens to me. Eeyore chose he's taking the mantle, right? And he's also probably clinically depressed. But like when we're in that area, like you can look at it like that, and everybody's always like, oh, positive mindset, but that shit works.
Oh, 100%.
Like I've rebuilt my life 3 times. So I had all my assets seized by the government because I had a bad accountant.
Oh wow! What?
So they took everything from me. They froze all my assets. I rebuilt everything.
Damn.
I've been divorced.
Yep.
And had a fire.
Yeah.
I'm still smiling, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Hey,
and maybe I just have the proper neurobiology to be this positive person.
Plausible.
Or maybe stuff sucks sometimes. And you just gotta let that stuff go through. And I think especially with emotions, you have to kind of treat it like you're sick, right? Like if you're sick and you keep pushing, you stay sick.
Yeah.
But if you're sick and take 2 days off, you get better. Just be depressed. Just let it happen. Don't fight it. Just let it move through you.
Yeah.
Says me, white privileged straight male. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure.
I also think it's almost situational too, and almost like an indicator that you should be doing something too. Where where a lot of people will say, "Oh, I'm so depressed." Like, okay, well, you're still living at your mom's house. You're still doing all these things.
You hate your job.
Exactly.
Right?
Right?
So you never work
like
out.
it.
You don't go outdoors.
Yeah,
right.
Fix those things.
Yeah. Well, and there's medication, and again, never one, never the other, kind of the middle. Like medication is important for some people. They need medication 100%.
Yeah.
But the fact that medication is given instantaneously isn't always great, right? It's I just found out I'm celiac. I actually have celiac, the actual disease, not
really?
the thing. Yeah, I just found out in January last year.
Oh wow.
Interesting.
I was 38.
Yeah.
I've had stomach problems my whole life.
Yeah.
They gave me pills and this and that and blah. And the first thing I said, my stomach hurt. The first thing they should ask is, "Oh, what do you eat?"
Yeah.
Your tummy hurts. You put food in there. Is that bad? Right?
Yeah.
But they push the drugs on you. And again, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. All that stuff makes sense. But they should go like holistic, like the way that's used now.
Yeah.
They should do that first. They should eliminate all of the non-medical options. But again, there's
Control
a commission
variables,
structure.
right?
Exactly.
So,
elimination diet. And that's how I found out. I had a new doctor who's amazing, Dr. Abdallah. And he's like, okay, let's just start with like stop eating these things.
Yeah.
And after I stopped eating bread, I'm like, I seriously, like, I can't tell you, I feel 25 years younger.
Wow.
I was poisoning myself every day.
Yeah.
And I was like eating whole grains, like, oh, it's good for you. I'm eating healthy.
Whole grain.
Yeah.
But nope. So it's just, it's an interesting state that we live in, right? And the people that are out there are educated enough to make decent arguments, but not experts. But they think this level of education is enough to be an expert. Right? So it's not that everybody's like, people are dumb. Like, no, they're not dumb. They're educated just enough to be a problem. Right?
that internet where everybody knows everything.
Oh man. Yeah.
That's so true too. It's so indicative of our times and where it's like the quick fix. Right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Give them the pill so they shut up and stop coming to me.
Yeah.
Because
Or even it's like the default textbook solution or whatever
Right,
sort of thing.
exactly.
Right? So yeah.
Well, and again, I can't stress enough. There are people that I know that without medication would not be okay.
Oh, absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
there's some people out there that are on medication. I think, like, especially, and this is my big pet peeve: children. I lucked out. My daughter is awesome.
Yep.
But like, putting anything permanent in a child's brain or body before they are the age of consent I think should be a crime. Right? Like, so Paris, I think France just released that your child cannot be a vegan before they're 18 is legal.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
they
Okay.
can't,
Yeah.
not allowed.
Interesting. Yeah.
So government control, who knows, whatever your beliefs are. But there's some development stuff. The science said is this, right? I think and this is going to broach all topics, right? Transgenderism. Like, I wouldn't give my daughter a tattoo if she wanted one at 11. Why would I let her switch her genitals?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And I'm not saying maybe when she's 21 and she still wants it, go nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now you're of the age of consent. Your brain is fully formed. The human brain doesn't finish forming until 25.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
neocortex doesn't finish, right?
Yeah.
You shouldn't be making decisions. It's like letting the 18-year-old bar star make like government level decisions at 22 when she's freaking high on coke, right? It's not a good move, right? That's why you want some older to a level, but you want them like still functioning, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And so when people like force like extreme diets or
Well, I mean, every kid has ADD or ADHD.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I had ADHD and I did this program as radical. It's called martial arts.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I learned how to focus. And
Yeah.
everybody's like, you have ADHD? I'm like,
Yeah.
if you talk to me, yeah, you guys get it. Right? You guys are like, yeah, you fucking do.
Yeah.
But I can weaponize it because
Yeah.
I had the training outside that. You mentioned it, going outside, physical culture, right? Like,
Yeah.
humans are meant to move.
Yep.
We're meant to be walking and grazing and hunting and whatever, right? So if you sit down and like play video games, get adrenaline up all day,
Yep.
and then you go to bed, that's not good for you. You have all these chemicals in your system, right?
Yeah.
And the only way to burn adrenaline off is through big movement. Water and big movement. So if you have a harsh situation that happens, you have a breakup or a car accident or you're in a fight, don't drink coffee. Water, go for a walk, everything gets better. But if you drink alcohol and you sit around, it doubles down and sinks into your muscles and your bones. You become a much worse person. So
Yeah.
things get bad, but these chemical reactions are not really talked about.
Yeah.
Right? And like, even when we talk about adrenaline, like neurotypical females and neurotypical males adrenalize differently.
Sure.
They handle adrenaline different. So
Yeah.
do you want me to get into this? This is kind of a big
Let's
talk.
do it.
Okay,
Let's do
sure.
it.
So there's this chemical called serotonin. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Yeah.
It's in your brain. It's the dream chemical. Women have more serotonin than men. That's why they tend to dream deeper.
Sure.
Serotonin inhibits the uptake of estrogen. That's why the estrogen stays in their system. Right? So that's why if you have friends on antidepressants, they're usually serotonin enhancers. So they feel like they're fuzzy. They feel like they're more feminine.
Yep.
It's because they have more estrogen in their body because of the inhibitor.
Really?
Yeah. So the antidepressants,
Okay.
the antidepressants are actually kind of a problem, and so they should be recommended with like a TRT, a testosterone replacement therapy. Again,
Wow. I just had we'll talk about off air, but I had a huge epiphany about something.
yeah.
Anyways.
So this talk
yeah.
gives a lot of epiphanies, and
Yeah.
again, just a guy that kicks people.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
so go ahead. You have a question?
No. I'm just saying, holy smokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, especially on antidepressants, are like, oh, I'm not like I used to be. I don't have like that fire. You don't, because serotonin inhibits the uptake of adrenaline. Of estrogen. Estrogen inhibits the uptake of epinephrine or adrenaline. Okay.
Okay.
So do you guys both have partners?
Yep.
Are
No.
You don't, but
So do you prefer females?
Yes.
Okay, I gotta ask, right? So
It's 2020.
So yeah, I gotta double check, right? So in this situation, I'm sure then if you've been in a relationship for more than a minute, you have an argument you have with your partner all the time, right?
never.
Okay, sure. Amazing. You need to write a book. So this is how the argument usually tends to go. So for me, mine was toilet paper. I have a very specific way toilet paper goes on the roll. It's against the internet. So I like it to go behind, not over top. And the reason why is we used to raise puppies. And if it went
And
over top, they would bite it and run around the house.
Yeah.
And then my dad would be like, hey, stupid, put the toilet paper on, right? So I have this conditioning to
Yeah.
put the toilet paper on this way, right?
Yeah.
So so me and my ex used to fight about this all the time because she, the psycho, just kidding, had no opinion on toilet paper.
Yeah.
As long as it got to where it was going, she didn't give a shit where it was. She didn't have to be on the roll. Crazy person.
Yeah.
And I have this conditioned response. It has to go this way or I'm going to get mad. So if I came home and it was the wrong way, I would
Yeah.
get very angry and instantly angry because I call quick uptake versus slow uptake. I'm a quick uptake adrenaline responder, which means I get mad now, but I don't stay mad long. So I'm
Okay.
like, what the fuck is going? And then I chill the fuck down.
Yeah.
Okay. Women tend to go the opposite. They have a slower burn because the adrenaline takes longer to burn through their system.
Right.
Right. So this affects self-defense. Is why I know all this. Right. In a self-defense situation, men are extremely powerful in the first 10 minutes, but they get sleepy. Right. Women tend to go longer and longer and longer.
Yeah.
So when we're doing this, the adrenaline cycle, if you're taking antidepressants and you're not burning through adrenaline, you got to move. You got to move to get through it. The only way to burn through it is through extended cardio, walking, running, doing something, hitting a bag.
Yeah.
I know I didn't before I even knew this. When I got mad, I would go for a walk, and it always calmed me down. It was it was the movement.
Yeah.
Right. Burn the adrenaline off.
Interesting. That's a very scientific way of putting it, because sometimes people say like, "Hey, go for a walk," sort of thing. Like it's just sort of an ism that but it's not really the why behind it, I guess. Right?
We have all these like intrinsic human operating system notes in our language. Take a breath, go walk it off. But people just kind of they're platitudes now. But they're there for a reason.
Yeah,
they do something.
It's almost like our ancestors knew what they were doing or something. I don't know.
It's almost like they were only trapped in their bodies with no internet to distract them all the time. Weird.
Figured out a lot of things. Oh, well. Do you have any other questions on your pad there?
I'm sure I'll think of one.
Yeah.
But you had the big question.
Well, so one story
right. Yes.
that I
This
really,
story.
really love of yours is the Dennis Rodman story.
Cool.
So can we, will you grace us with the...
Yeah, I can. Yeah. So as I was saying, when you were doing your deal there on the break, this is weird. So I mentioned earlier that I was a bouncer for a long time, that I did close protection. So I had my own company for a while. We did rodeos and just whatever stuff.
Yep.
And so you're from Edmonton? Are you guys both from Edmonton?
Yep.
We are.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Born and raised.
we used to have the Indy. The Edmonton Indy. Do you remember that? The tent.
Oh, yes,
And there
yes,
was
yes,
the
yes.
tent party downtown across from Oil City Roadhouse.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that was one of my contracts.
Oh,
So
okay,
Oil
yeah.
City brought in D-list level celebrities. So I work with Vern Troyer, Kevin Federline, unfortunately, and Dennis Rodman. Vern Troyer, rest in peace. He was interesting because they don't have child-sized urinals in bars. So I had to hold him up to do his business. So that's kind of
No
funny.
way.
Yeah, it was
awesome.
that was the day I was like, this isn't for me. I don't think this is my job.
Yeah.
It was a good story.
Yeah.
Also, he
Yeah.
did more cocaine than any human I've ever seen in my life. But I digress. So, Dennis Rodman, he is, if you know, Dennis Rodman is such an antiquated reference. He was a very famous NBA player who had a very out loud personality way before out loud was normal.
Went to
Yeah.
North Korea. And
Went to
all
North
that.
Korea, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and so why this story kind of popped back up is I put on my Facebook that because they said that Dennis Rodman might get a Nobel Peace Prize, and then I'll tell the joke at the end of the story, but I was really hoping he got it just because of the end of the story, that I could have that story to say. So I was the only person with any kind of bodyguard training back then. So I went to a bodyguard course in the States and up here and got certified. So I knew like movements, like not military level, but just like standard civilian bodyguard stuff.
Okay.
So I had to work with my team of goons that we were with. And so I was teaching them triangle movement. So I was very clearly the one in charge when Mr. Rodman was with us.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was like, hey guys, okay, do this way. And so it's really easy to do, right? Like if you're a 4-man team, you form a triangle, or a 4-person team.
Yeah.
If you have a 4-person team, you have 4 people. So it's like a little diamond.
Yep.
And then wherever the principal or the person you're protecting turns, whatever direction they turn, that person now becomes the leader of the team.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
that way they can do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
And we just move coordinatedly
Adjust.
through like
Yeah.
a pro, right?
Yeah.
So even though I was the lead, if he turned to the left
Yeah.
and I was in front, I'm no longer the
Yeah.
lead. So now I defer to person here.
Just in that moment, you were the lead.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
So he could do whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
And he still pulls. Like back then, he was getting everybody, men, women, throwing stuff. Boo. It was amazing. And I'm like, hey, this is pretty cool. So anyways, I kind of chill him down a couple of times.
Yeah.
And so it was weird because he's so tall.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've noticed my Trump-esque hands, but he has huge paws, which I'm always jealous of because I have very small hands. And so he was like moving, like, yeah, about swatting his hand. I'm like, don't do that. What are you doing here? This isn't like, you can't just do that. So anyways, the night ends, we're drinking beers. Part of the arrangement was whatever beers were left over, my team got. So,
Okay, yeah.
so we were drinking, having fun, night's
Yeah.
over, and a very inebriated Dennis Rodman comes up and yells, "Where's my cracker?" And I say, I think that's me. I'm like, hi. So he's like, yeah, you, come here. So anyways, we were at this bar. So the tent was here, and there's this old bar called The Bank, and it was a former bank.
Right.
Yeah.
And so there was a vault, and it was 3 levels.
That was like right at our time.
The bank. Oh yeah.
The
bank.
bank.
How,
Yeah.
old, how old are you guys?
26.
Yeah.
Oh really?
So
Yeah.
we still remember Oil City and the bank.
The
Yeah.
bank. But that was the bank's on that white building on the corner.
It's like Boulevard now or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yes, correct.
It's like right on.
Across the street.
Yeah.
right
Yes.
across the street from
Okay,
Oil City.
okay,
Yeah, because
okay.
there was like lots of back and forth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it was they're now called Spark, but it was Oil City Hospitality that ran that event.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
So we had the bank. And so there's 3 levels. And so in the bottom level is Dennis Rodman's after party, which I guess he negotiated and he had better negotiate. I got beer and he got like all the blonde girls in Edmonton. But so we walked down to, I walked down to this situation. And Dennis Rodman then, like a sultan, offers me a woman. He's like, any woman you want. I'm like, Mr. Rodman, I'm good. Thank you. I was married.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm okay. I don't need any help getting ladies. We're fine.
Sure.
And he goes, okay, so just so you know, you can call me D-Rock. And I said, I'm never going to call you that, Mr. Rodman. That's just not going to happen. If I was in white, I'd be clear. I'm definitely not going to say D-Rock to you. I don't have the cred. So anyways, the night progresses. And so Dennis Rodman, Mr. Rodman at the time, Mr. Rodman finds out that I've been stabbed and I have some knife defense training, et cetera, et cetera. He had this bodyguard named Maurice. Maurice, I love you. I hope you're hearing these shows. I've shouted you out twice now. Maurice
Shout out Maurice.
just puts up with this guy's shit all the time. So Dennis Rodman's like, what if I stabbed you right now? What would you do? And I said, Mr. Rodman, please don't stab me. And so, and again, you're noticing how politically correct I'm trying to be here. This couldn't sound more racist, but he grabbed a bottle of Alizé, I swear to God, and smashed it and then called it an N-word knife.
Jeez.
So he said, what if I stabbed you with this N-word knife? And I said, Mr. Rodman, please don't stab me. And so he goes, fine, I won't. Maurice, stab him. So Maurice grabs it. He looks at me and he goes, like, I don't know if this is all video, but he goes like, I'm gonna stab you. Like this is gonna happen.
We gotta do it.
Like
man.
I have to. Like you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And he gives me like a really good like it's coming from here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so cool. So I stop. It's very easy to stop something. It was coming. I look super badass. Whatever. I spin the guy over. Wrist lock. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
And just whoa, what the fuck? It was so crazy. And so then me and Maurice kind of bond. And then so the rest of the night just kind of goes on as normal.
Yeah.
And then Dennis Rodman gave me his number, and I deleted it out of my phone. Because that was crazy. It was insane. Like, I'm not really a drugs guy. I'm not against them. Like, do what you want to do, but I just don't. I'm a booze and a pot guy.
Yeah.
And pot literally only when it became legal. I'm like, oh, this is what the fuss is about.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't have a guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but booze is always available.
Yep.
And so it was very hard drugs and it was an interesting time, and I had a very fun time. Lots of nudity, lots of very attractive women who just try to get near Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Damn. That's a good story. That's a lot to take in.
And he now has a disease named after him, DRD.
What's DRD?
Dennis Rodman disease.
Is that real?
It's like slang for STI.
Ah, that makes sense. But yeah, so the joke that I wanted to make was if Dennis Rodman won the Nobel Peace Prize, then I could say for the rest of my life that Nobel Peace Prize recipient tried to stab me. And that's awesome. I think that's just awesome. So I was really gunning for him to get that award.
Yeah.
Was that how recent?
That was pretty recent.
That was like
wasn't it?
last year, I think, like early last year.
So it's over and done with. He can't win it now.
He can't. And then one of my friends, one of my friends is a UN's weapons inspector, so he wasn't originally when I met him. He was a soldier here, and then he got special forces in Canada. Then he went to the UN as a bomb disposal tech. I'm not going to use his name.
Okay.
Anyways, he has Nobel Peace Prize, so I'm like, well, that's not even a big deal. I'm like, oh, you got one. This idiot has one. Like, it's better just giving these things away.
Takes the magic out of it a little bit.
Took the magic out of it a little bit. I'm not going to
Some
lie.
guy, you know. Yeah.
Is it because he opened the door to North Korea? Is that the whole?
That's
reason?
why they thought, they were going to give him the prize.
Okay,
But
gotcha.
he's
absolutely.
He's still relevant. It's weird. Like he's still kicking up there.
When did he even play in the NBA?
Like the
early,
80s and 90s?
I think like early 90s. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Jordan era. Like in that kind of like end
they
of
were
Jordan.
The original big three was him, Pippen, and Jordan.
Yeah,
It was like,
Really?
I think that's right. I'm not a basketball fan, but
Yeah. It was like the 90s, give or
I
take.
just
So,
remember the crazy hair and the.
Yeah.
banging Madonna and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He was that guy's quite the. I
Oh,
love.
man.
I sit that guy down. That'd be quite the tale to tell. for
Yeah,
sure.
damn. We'll work on that, actually.
He's gonna come up here and fight me. I've been talking shit about him for like on 2 separate podcasts.
Yeah, well, hopefully this doesn't come back to him, but we'll see.
It'd be great if he did. The guys from the Awesome Hour, some of them, one of them knew Dennis Rodman's manager, so they like messaged him on the show or something, like before the show, like, do you know this guy? So yeah, I don't know what happened. Obviously nothing, because they didn't get back to me. But
interesting. Well,
yeah.
So does that, top the stories of the VIP security stories, or?
Yeah, a lot of the other VIP stuff. It's like VIP is boring, right? Like I did a lot of like country singers.
Oh, okay.
Just like small shows, but that was definitely the one. Like Vern Troyer and him are my two. Like, because Vern Troyer's Mini Me, if you're not aware.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And like him, like his little scooter, and just like so again the indie.
Yep.
Every indie girl wanted a piece of Troyer. Like they all went to go. So I'm not going to mention the year that it happened because that's going to incriminate some of my friends.
Yeah.
But I remember that was the night that I decided I was done with this.
Really?
Right. Yeah. Because it was just like I was there, and he's doing his thing. Like, and I'm an over exaggerator for sure. Like I like to make fish stories for sure. Mm-hmm. It was. I swear to God, a wheelbarrow of cocaine. Like, I'm not joking. He didn't do it all, but it was there. And there was just straws in it. So the indie girls were doing it, and he was doing it, and they were back and forth, and apparently coke dick's not a thing for him. Like, he was just, it was insane, and it didn't end until, like, 7 or 8 in the morning, and, like, we stopped getting paid at 4. Yeah. But, like, I was actually more worried about the girls than I was about, because it wasn't from him, it was just the people, the other men that were there that were also in the wheelbarrow, that weren't famous, and they were kind of creepy, so we stayed like 4 hours longer than we were paid to stay because I knew a couple of the women that were there, and so it was
interesting.
And I'm like, I can't. It's like the towel, right?
Yeah, the
like
dynamic.
I can't. I'm I'm a big brother. I've always been, right? So I'm just like a protector type. So
most definitely.
Absolutely.
Well, you heard it here first. VIP is boring.
It is. So it's like so I'm going to use the word forced professional. What I mean by that is like people that are in jobs that are action packed. It's 90% kill me. I'm so fucking bored. 10%. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right. Like I enjoy this end more now with the business and the interviews and that. It's more interesting because it's a constant flow of work as opposed to like sitting around. Like when I was younger and single, the bar was great because I had eye candy, right? Unlimited. Like I always make the joke, so I was quite the prolific slut in my younger days. And the reason why is very simple. I worked at a bar, and just if you work the numbers, right? I saw 1,000 people a night. Yeah. Let's say 600 women a night. Yeah. Even if I was awful looking, if even 0.1% of them thought I was cute, that's still a day to night every night, right? If you just run the numbers, right?
Absolutely.
Like, so
going back on our statistics,
right? Exactly.
Right. So
you wanted to talk about statistics.
Sales.
It was sales, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned something about that.
Just the article you wrote about how like statistics can be just you can say anything with them. Mm-hmm. That's so legit. I don't think I've seen it put in more perfect terms.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I'd like to. Is that just on?
It's on my blog, rankkinglive.com/blog.
There you go.
I'll have to take a read. I'm curious.
Well, the reason why, like, so again, right? Like we. So I feel like I'm picking on BJJ. It's just the biggest art right now. So it's like football, right? The only person in danger is the one with the ball. BJJ has the ball right now. So we're picking on BJJ because they're at the top.
For sure.
So again, I take BJJ. Please don't send me hate mail. BJJ has had this stat for a long time. They don't do it anymore. But it was that 90% of street fights go to the ground.
Right.
Okay.
That was a stat they used.
Okay.
And they said they got it from this LAPD study on fights. And so everybody's like, see, 90% of the fights go to the ground. But it's like clickbait, right? Like, so I got the study, and I read the whole study. And I don't know if people know how to read studies. So how you read a study is, first thing you read is definition of terms.
Sure.
Right? Because every study has a different definition. English is very subjective. Then you need to read the synopsis after you have the definition of terms, and then you need to read the conclusion.
Yeah.
So the study pretty much said, so while their definition of going to the ground was any time an officer handcuffed the perpetrator.
God.
So if they handcuffed them against a wall or against on the floor or against the hood of a car,
that counts.
That counted.
Oh my God.
So the term they used for ground work was entanglement, not ground. So when they said they ground, it's like grounding an airplane.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, obviously BJJ can take down airplanes because airplanes get grounded all the time.
Yeah.
Right? No, that's not how the word is being used. Yeah. So this is the issue with the study. So 90% of police officers arrest people against walls and cars and floors. Neat. This is mind-blowing, right?
Yeah.
So I read the whole study. And so they went through the word entanglement is what they meant by wrestling. And there was standing entanglement and ground entanglement. So of the 90% of the of those engagements that were on the ground, 63% of the 90% were entanglements, and only 30% of those were entanglements on the ground. So 90% of 63% of 33% fights go to the ground all the time, right? But that's not how BJJ, right?
Yeah.
That's not how and so that's the problem with stats, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually, we mentioned on the break, I think I'm a huge stand-up comedy fan, huge.
Right.
And so Bill Burr, I think, is one of the greatest of all time.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of got this rant from him. I don't know if you've heard his stand-up on. He's like, but some guys, like, people are always like going like IamRight.com and putting out stats. He's like, I was thinking about going scuba diving, but I don't want to get attacked by a shark. And he's like, well, then some guys like, well, just so you know, 90% of shark attacks happen in shallow water. He's like, yeah, because that's where the people are. It's called the beach.
Yeah.
so you have to look at the entire context of the study. You can't just look
absolutely.
at the number or the name. IFL or ISL, the International Science League, did this. They did a study online, like a social experiment.
Mm-hmm.
And so they did a clickbait article that said, DNA from pot shown to not be from Earth. And if you click the link, the first thing it said was, this is a bullshit article. We're doing a study to see if whatever. And it was shared like 4,500 times or something like that, right? Because people just were like, and they're like, yeah, I told you, right? Puck is potheads, right? That's their thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Daniel Tosh has a great joke. He's like, I hope pot becomes legal. And everyone's like, yeah. He's like, no, not for the reason you think. Because then potheads will have nothing to talk about ever again, right? So, with IFL, that's the way we are. Is we live in this soundbite clickbait generation, and so that's why stats are dangerous. They weren't dangerous before because only experts were using stats and they had the full context of the situation.
Yeah.
Now it's anybody can go to anywhere, get the numbers they need to make this shit work. So I think it's in the article, but I have an example. 100% true stat. So did you know, this is 100% true, the more churches in a city, the more violent crime happens in that city. That's 100% true.
Because they're more populous cities, I'm assuming.
Boom! Because I could have said schools, I could have said hospitals.
Yeah.
But people don't hear that. They hear, because of religious fighting, because of blah. Oh, I knew religion was bad because my bias. That makes it work, right?
Yeah.
So it's because, there's just more fucking people there.
Yeah. Isn't there like correlation causation?
That's
too?
it.
When it's like there's more murders when it's warmer outside. Or something?
In the summertime, ice cream sales increase, and so does violent crime or murders or something like that.
And correlation is not causation. Right?
Exactly.
So and there's a whole website on that where they do like the different charts and stuff. It's really funny.
Yeah.
Like, did you know that the year Jaws got released?
Oh man, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's where we live in. So it's
No, there's definitely a lot of like. See, that's my problem too with. I don't know things, but people. I find people read.
Things.
I find people read headlines far too much.
Yeah, and sound bites.
Yeah. And even like, I wish I knew the example, but it's happened more than once where I see an article about something and that it makes some sort of semi-outrageous claim.
Yeah.
And then like first paragraph kind of plays on that, second paragraph sort of tones it down, and third paragraph's like, okay, but actually it was right. And then you're like, okay, so nothing, right? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, that's what they call it. It's called upside down pyramid writing, right?
Yeah.
So it's the upside down pyramid where you put the things you want to say here, but then kind of the truth at the bottom of the article, right? So
true.
But and that's the problem, right? Is that Instagram's trying to fight this, right? So Instagram changed their algorithm. I don't know if you know that, but it used to be the more likes you got, the more you were shown an organic occurrence.
Yep.
Now it's comments. Because you could buy likes. You can't really buy comments. So now, I don't know if you guys follow my social media. You should. At Ranking Live.
I believe we do.
But I'm asking a lot more questions on mine now because I want people to do comments to bring it up, right?
Yeah,
so they're looking
absolutely.
for engagement because they can prove that a lot better. So everybody's bitched with the algorithm. That was the algorithm change. They changed the metric from likes to comments. So interaction, not just clicking. So you need to make your content. You need to ask a question or like blah, blah, blah.
Engaging, basically.
Engaging.
Right?
But unfortunately now outrageous claims. And so I do this. This is like a little secret. I don't really tell a lot of people, but it's kind of funny and I don't give a crap on the show. So on purpose, 1 out of every 8 things I make, I'll put a spelling mistake in. Do you know why?
Because people will.
Every grammar Nazi will comment, that's incorrect, you did the wrong thing. And I'll get like
the wrong
150 comments, which throws that all the way up to the top of the thing, and then people see my other stuff.
Yeah,
amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's just like weaponizing the hive.
Yeah, I believe we have a social media meeting to have after this, Josh. But, oh, man. So, actually, one thing I should have looked up better before this, but You have a book, right? Or are you
Yes.
working on it?
So I have a book out, and I have a book that I'm working on. So
Okay.
the book out is so as you can tell, I was in advertising and business before I went full time into martial arts. So that's my kind of pitch, right? This is my passion, blah blah blah, right? Live your truth. But I left a 6-figure advertising career to open a gym in the ghetto of Edmonton,
Yep.
And it worked out. I haven't quite compensated the income yet, but I'm doing okay.
Getting there.
Yeah. And so my first book was KPC when I was running it. It was a unique entity in that we didn't teach kids classes. We didn't really do fitness classes. We just did what I wanted to do.
Right.
And we were successful. And so we had a bunch of, I used to bring instructors up, including my mentor, Rory Miller. And they were always like, how do you our adult class, 5 people. And they're like,
Yeah.
the parents of the kids. You have 100 adults here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, well, I'm speaking adults, right? We're talking about psychology. We're here for we're not like, get your yellow belt, pattern 6. We're like, this is what happens to your body when you freeze. This is what happens after a rape. And adults like, what the fuck? And kids don't need to hear this, right? So we had this engagement. And so Miller, Rory, he was like, you need to write a book on this, how to do this. And I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And the reason why, and this might show my level of ego / confidence, whatever you want to angle it.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to write a book about business to be successful and then end up being a business consultant again.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to go where the money is, right? And so I wrote this book called Selling Out to Your Level of Comfort. And what it is it's
I like that title.
Thank you. It's pretty much like a 10-chapter book. It's very thin.
Okay.
And it's mostly just worksheets on how to clarify the message that you want to get out there for your martial arts gym. It works for everything,
Okay.
but for
Yeah.
martial arts gyms.
Gotcha.
It weirdly got picked up by the film industry. My friend works in special effects, and I sold 30 copies to a bunch of film editors for some reason.
Huh.
Because it's it's just a principle based. It works for everything with a martial arts paintbrush.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's my first book.
Yeah.
It did really well actually for a self-published book, 5,000 copies or something, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
That's
for
really
self-
reasonable.
you,
for
man.
sure.
yeah, not bad at all.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
And again, I had this. So I'm not a big deal. I always joke that I am, but I'm not. My mentor Rory, he wrote 7 books on self-defense. They are the definitive books on psychology of violence, and so
Okay,
I get to
yeah.
study under this guy. So even though I sound really articulate, 50% of what I'm saying is just parroting what he says. And
Yep.
so right.
You're honest.
Yeah, it's true. And so this guy's running literally around the world. He does 60 dates a year, something like that,
Yeah.
all over the world. Pretty much everywhere I've been, 1 out of every 8 people that hire me doesn't know Rory, right? So and Rory's like, Randy, you gotta work with Randy, blah blah blah. So I'm very lucky.
Yep.
So he's promoted the book. So I think that's why
Okay,
I did so
gotcha.
well. It had nothing to do with my own steam at all. It was just that promotion company.
So the
him
next book.
is on all the things we talked about today. So it's a book on. So it's going to be called a guide. Self-defense starting at zero, starting at zero. Your guide to self-defense.
Okay.
And what it is so I mentioned I work on reserves, and a lot of that was very eye-opening for me because a lot of instructors, including myself, before this, a student comes in to the gym. And then you make them better, right? So they're stronger, they're more confident. Are we still good on time? Yeah, okay, good.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to, they come in and then you're like, oh, I did such a good job, right? I'm awesome. But what most of us don't realize, including myself, is that the person that came to you, they already fought 100 demons. They got up the courage to email you. They got up the courage to come to you. They got up the courage to tell their story. Then they walked in the door. So while I did help, I was more pointing the path up the mountain. I didn't show them the mountain. When I was on the reserves and the people that I work with there, and I don't want to paint a wide brush. I don't want a blanket statement on this, but a lot of the reserves, the culture is just different.
Yeah.
And then some really horrific things that happened. There was a female that I was working with. She was kidnapped by a member of her family. Sorry, this gets dark, listeners, so you might want to hear the rest of this. Just heads up. Was kidnapped by a member of her family, an uncle. She was kept in a crawl space for a year. She was fed only potato chips, and she was only taken out during parties, if you get my drift. So I work with this girl.
Jeepers.
Wow.
This girl is this is why my big saying is education is accessible now, technique takes time. This is why I'm so big on the education part, because if she would have known the things to look for and told her family, or she could have got I think she was 13 when this happened.
Wow.
If your uncle is a full-grown male and you're a 13-year-old female or a 13-year-old human in general, kicky, punchy, chokey is not going to help. There's weight classes for a reason, right? But having a threat matrix, understanding what's going to happen, might have helped her. Maybe not. Maybe she was trapped and there's nothing anybody could have done. So I work with this person, and I was like, okay, and she's like, so of course she's not doing the class, right? But I'm paid to be there, and I want to make sure everybody's happy. I'm like, okay, well, what's going on? Let's talk. And so she told me this horrific story, and I'm unfortunately very empathetic. I take people's shit on, so this affected me for a couple of days. And I was like, okay, this is insane. Like, teaching her physical skills isn't going to help. So I gave her an outlet. She's actually working with some people now. We did really good. She's off the reserve, but it was a crazy situation. Starting at 0 is where people come to the gym. I want to talk to people below 0, right? So I talked to a woman. She was raped 7 times, 2 gang rapes. And I was like, okay, that's just a lot. That's statistically a lot. And unfortunately, like, once you're in a victim mentality, if you smell like prey, you attract predators, right?
Sure.
So the body language or whatever. So after the 3rd or 4th one, it just, those people kept coming towards her, right? And she's a very successful human being now. And I was like, okay, this is like, I don't want to, I'm not victim blaming, but that's a lot. That's a lot of different people. Like, if it was one person over and over again, right? It was like a victimization cycle or domestic abuse. I understand that.
Okay.
But what is this, right? She's like, honestly, her exact words were, I'm like, so I don't want to judge you, and I don't want to tell you what to do, and I don't want to mansplain you, but did you ever fight back? And she said, no. And I said, great, understood. I'm not going to tell you, like, the saying we run with is you can't survive wrong.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're talking to me, you did the right thing. So I'm not going to armchair quarterback your horrific day. I would have done, you should have done an armbar. Right? Like, that's not what I'm going to say. Like, you cannot survive incorrectly.
Right.
But why? Why did you not even, after like number 6, like, was there, and she literally just said, I didn't think I was worth it.
Wow.
I work with another female on a reserve, and was talking about this stuff, and she said, people here use my body whenever they want. Why should I even bother? And this exists, and there's people out there teaching stuff to martial athletes thinking they're making a difference, and maybe they are. But that's not the difference I want to make. The difference I want to make is this. So,
Gotcha.
So the book that I'm writing now is called is talking to these people, saying you're worth it, going through stuff. We talk about boundary setting. And for me, there's 3 levels of boundary. So there's physical, obviously, like, get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
There's verbal, but there's also an emotional boundary.
Yeah.
If I can supersede your emotional boundary, I devastate the other 2. Right? So if you're like I'm going to fight you, but okay, I'm going to blow your dog's head off, put your hands down, boom, I win.
Yeah.
So if I can beat your emotional boundary, I can beat you.
Gotcha.
These predators aren't fighting people physically. They're not trying to, they're emotionally, psychologically taking them down. So I got to take them through a process, right? Give them the ability. So ideally my goal really is to fill every martial arts gym up in the world with people that need the training, but to give them the skill set so no matter where they train, the training's going to be effective.
Right.
So I'm going to give them the psychological parts. I'm going to give them, this is what happens. These are the common things. And one thing that was really important for me during my depression, because again, no internet on my phone, was knowing that other people experience what I experienced. Sure. Because humans have to have a tendency of, when something happens to them, they make it special and they make it unique to them, and it's not. Violence is not unique. This is the first time you could sit at a table. If you had 4 kids and they're all 25 and they're all at the table, that's rare. Right? Yeah. This is the crazy time to live in, right? Which violence is becoming so taken aback that people don't even want to talk about it because they feel like they're freaks, right? We made a joke about anti-vaxxers at some point in time.
Yeah.
And there's lineups in India right now for tuberculosis vaccines.
Yeah.
You know why? Tuberculosis is still fucking there.
It exists.
People see it.
Yeah.
We're 3 generations away from tuberculosis. We could pretend that dragon doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Right? So we're allowed to be like, well, not my kid because blood, herd immunity, da-da-da-da-da. There's no anti-vaxxer in India being like, fuck it. They have an uncle that's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
This thing with violence now. Violence is such a weird thing. If you go back even 50 years, like, my dad was in probably 300 street fights, like, and not even trying to be a badass, just like, that's what you did.
That was part of life, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so there was violence, and the sexual assault was obviously very bad, and there was just domestic abuse, and you hit your wife, and it was, I'm not saying any of this is good, I'm just saying it was very common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of under the wraps.
And now it's exactly,
Yeah.
we're doing better. We are.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people use fear-based marketing. I can't stand it. The world is safer than it was 50 years ago.
Sure.
It's just, we have this, I have one more story of my mom. So my mom got Google when she was 62.
Yeah.
Her husband died. He kind of took care of everything. I moved her out. We got Google because I was sick of answering questions. Like, just Google it. Like, this is insane.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I don't got this kind of time. I love you, but Jesus. So,
Yeah.
so she called me probably, I'd say 6 hours after the internet connection got hooked up. And she's like, it's end of days. I'm like, what? She goes, yeah, it's end of days right now. I'm like, okay, non-religious mother. Why is it? Why is it the book of? Why is it the end of days right now? And she's like, well, there's a tsunami and blah, and there's this and that and that. I'm like, okay, whoa.
Yeah.
These things always existed.
Yep.
You just didn't have instant access to that information. It would take you 3 days to hear about the earthquake in China.
Absolutely.
You didn't have like a map. Like, there's this website. I wish I remember what it was, but you can look at every disaster, biological, natural, everything, every disaster. You can look it on a map online.
Yeah.
And if you look at that, you'll blow your head off.
Oh, absolutely.
You're like, this is fire and brimstone and right.
It's all over.
Oh man.
So I think that's the thing, right? So for me, normalize, because again, this stuff, unfortunately, and I don't know how much better humans are going to get without some kind of like evolutionary jump, or like maybe Elon Musk gives us a chip or whatever the fuck we're going to do. But I think this is about as non-savage as we get.
Yeah.
And it's still going to exist, right?
Yeah.
At the current evolutionary state of the talking monkeys that we are.
Yeah.
So I think that people need to understand that, like, again, criminals aren't getting softer.
Yeah.
So like, horrible things happen, but and like I've been stabbed 1, 2, 3 times. So once in the face, once in the leg, and then once by a fork. That's my half a joke. So my full
okay,
joke, if you
gotcha.
guys want to hear it, is I've been stabbed 2.5 times. Everybody's like, half a time. Like, well, I got stabbed once in the face, once in the leg, and then once by a fork. So I don't really count that. But the marketing guy in me wants to say I got stabbed 6 times because of each prong.
Oh man.
So that sounds crazy now. But like when I talk to a guy like 50, he's like, you only got stabbed twice? You're pussy. Right? Like, oh, you know what?
Yeah.
I kind of am. And I built a whole career on getting stabbed 1 time, really.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
When I go to the reserve, that's like how I kind of break the ice. I'm like, who here's been stabbed? Oh, how many times? Oh, you beat me. Right? And so it's weird, but that's just how it is.
Yeah. Wow.
So people finding that group, like anything, humans are social creatures. And despite how much you're behind your phone and despite how much of an introvert you identify yourself as, if you're an introvert, I guarantee you like books and music. Right? Or video games or something else a human created. So you're still social in your own little bit of a way.
Yeah.
So there is a link to humanity. People in solitary don't go crazy until their books are taken away. When there's no connection to a human being. If you put somebody in solitary books, some people, that's a reward.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like,
For me, it would be.
right.
Yeah.
But if we gave you nothing and, and you only had to hear your own thoughts all the time,
Oh, God.
that's
boy.
no good at all.
Yeah.
So there's that connection. So I think I want to normalize the victimization, but I don't want to normalize the violence. So if you've been victimized, you can't survive incorrectly.
Yep.
Whatever you did is correct. I hope you're okay. Here's how to maybe stop that next time, and maybe not. And also, you're not alone. Right?
Yeah.
You're not alone.
Yeah.
Like when I got the depression, so many people, like, because I used to be very alpha E. I'm not very much anymore, but I used to be very like I couldn't tell people I was weak, right? Because I'm Randy fucking King, man.
Yeah,
I'm a tough guy. I own a gym, and it was weird. One day I was just like, fuck it, I want to talk about this. I don't know why, because I was talking to somebody who's depressed, and I'm like, I was depressed, like you. I'm like, yeah, and they're like, tell me. And then once I said, like, just the light that happened, like, oh my God, this guy who I looked up to because he's a student or whatever, he felt like I felt, which makes me not less than him. And I think that's really important. And just that communal group, right?
Yeah. That's huge.
I think so.
Yeah, and so that's the point of the book, right?
Yeah.
Is to be like, this is what's going on. So I'm going to tell these stories, and I'm going to like you think. And again, it's the other thing I want people to understand is I'm telling horrific examples.
Yeah.
There's no competition on pain.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Your worst experience is your worst experience. The same kept. So if my worst experience was, so I got jumped by 3 guys and was hit by bats and cleats. That was pretty bad. If your worst day was you didn't get the color of car you wanted from your rich parents, the same amount of chemicals hit you. Right? So even though contextually mine was worse, you're still experiencing the same amount of shit that I'm feeling at the same time. So there's no bar on pain, right?
Yep.
So your worst day is your worst day. Even if it's arguably contextually less than my worst day, it doesn't make it not your worst day. Because that's the bottom of the well of your pain.
Yeah. And that's when you bring in perspective.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's when you're like, I don't have it that bad.
Yeah, exactly.
I think so.
Yeah. But people got to realize that, right? So this is why, like, a lot of people, when they tell their stories, I don't like people to share the really bad stories because it makes the people who have minor stories feel like, well, I shouldn't complain, but you still should because you had a bad time, right? Like, So that's a new one. Ideally, it was supposed to be out this month. It's not. The fire.
Yeah.
So luckily I saved it. It's in the editing process, but I want it out soon because again, I have a following and I want this to happen. And
Definitely.
Cool. Yeah. Well, it might hit you up for some copies, I think.
Awesome. Yeah, for sure. I'll definitely give you guys one.
Oh, yeah.
Or 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm happy to. I like to support my friends and
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Happy to buy their books, and I need to read more this year.
Go buy his book. There you go.
Yeah, and if you want the Selling Out to Your Level Comforts on Amazon, all countries, and it's again, it's people are liking it. I don't know. It was funny. So this is my second book I'm writing, but this book I give a shit about, so it's taking way longer.
Yeah.
That one I'm like, here's the thing, just fucking go.
Yeah, just do it. It's like turning in a homework assignment you like don't want to do.
So if you want to write a book, write a book you don't really give a fuck about because you'll get it out real quick.
Yeah.
I got my first book out in a year. This book's been in the works for 2.5 years.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, but and also because books are a moment in time, and people need to remember that. But I'm always researching, so every time I research something new, I'm like, oh, I need to add that to the book. So I have to be like, everything I learned from this point forward doesn't matter. That'll be the next book, and I'm trying to get my time capsule out right now, right?
For sure.
Because I'm sure if we had this conversation in a year, I'd be adding new stuff, right?
Absolutely.
I'd believe it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, let's have another conversation in here.
Yeah, that sounds good.
it.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, we're at an hour and a half. That time flies when you're having fun.
That was really fun.
Yeah. Shall we call it an episode?
Yeah. Let's let him.
Would you like
one more
to,
time? Where can everybody find you?
Sure. I kind of subtly put it in the whole time, but
Yeah.
You're good at.
So
Just one more time for everybody at the end.
to actually paying attention.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you haven't turned this off because I'm doing the promo part, let's go. Honestly, I'm pretty simple. Randy King Live is everything. So I am. It's my YouTube channel. Also can be found under KPC Martial Arts, I believe. Randy King Live on Snapchat. I don't really use Snapchat. It's just for my daughter to send me filters, and like stupid games.
Yeah.
Instagram and Facebook, I spend most of my time on. Those are my pillars.
Yeah.
That's where I go, the Gary Vee style.
Yeah.
That's where I am. I respond to everybody. So if you get a hold of me, like I'm not trying to big time anybody here. I know I was coming across maybe a little big time. I don't mean to. I'm here to talk to you. So if you want to talk to anything, Randy King Live, and also my website is randykinglive.com. That's where you can find the blog. That's where you can find videos. I have a Patreon if you want to jump on that. It's been weirdly successful. Patreon.com/randykinglive. So,
awesome.
And I have two podcasts. So Talking to Savages is an interview-based podcast where we interview people with interesting jobs from all around the world. So coming up, we have a dating coach. If you guys need guests, just tell me. We have a dating coach coming up. I have the owner of Circle Fit coming up. We have a wrestler coming on. We have a clinical psychologist, but also we talk like martial arts instructors, and it's called Talking to Savage: Evolution of Violence. So it's kind of this. And my favorite podcast that I do. And the last thing I'll probably promote, because I don't think I have anything else to promote, is it's called the Randy King Live Podcast. I love my name. It's called the Randy King Live.
That's a good ring, man.
Thank you. It's called the Randy King Live Podcast, and it is a debate-based podcast, which I think it's crucial in this time. So the way the podcast works is it's free, and then there's a paid part, which is the final thoughts. The free part is the most important part. The final thoughts is kind of cool, but the free part, that's why I release it free, is we take a debate, and in this time. I said it. I might have said it on the show, but I'm not sure if I did. But I'll say it again. If you don't agree with me 100%, you're my enemy, and that's not okay, right? So I'm trying to bring back the art of conversation.
Yeah.
So what we do is I bring a guest on, and it's whoever, and we pick a topic. And right now they're very self-defense based because that's kind of my brand.
Sure.
Excuse me.
But I'll take a thing in self-defense. So example, we did a really kind of controversial episode of should we teach boys not to rape or women self-defense, right? And so then we pick one side or the other. And the way the debate is structured is you don't get to argue your opinion or your emotions. You just have to argue your point, like a regular debate.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Okay? So there's 15 rules. There's 15 logic fallacies that you're not allowed to use. You can get called out on them as part of the game. The rules of the show is you start as friends, we start as friends, we leave as friends, so nobody pouts and takes off, right? And then we debate the topic. It's a 20-minute jump, and then we go into our actual thoughts on final thoughts. So it's super fun. It's my favorite thing. I just did one Sunday actually, which was is a big ego important in an instructor? And so right. So I took the side of you shouldn't have it. My friend took the side you should have it, and then we debated that out. So it was very interesting. So if you're into debate and you're into actually like hearing people discuss and not just yell at each other from platforms, and you're not if you're sick of 90% of arguments being about your definition of a word, then jump onto this. Because most arguments I have, I'm like, okay, so I'm saying self-defense, you're saying martial arts. And they're like, no, I'm okay. So if our entire argument is classification of the terms we're using, we're not going to get anywhere.
Right,
so I'm trying to bring back some civil discourse.
Yeah.
We got to at least be in the same book, man, you know?
Exactly.
If not on the same page.
I'm sure you guys have this too. Every argument you have is about the definition of like, I didn't mean it like that. Well, how'd you mean it? Like, well, let's give each other lexicons, let's give the sheets and go. And so that's the cool part of the debate.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah. Excellent. Alrighty. Well, thanks for coming. And 1 year from today,
one year from today. Well, thank you for having me, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming by.
Thank you so much.